is, hey man, have you ever heard of the Rendlesham Forest?
The Rendlesham
Rendlesham Forest.
Rendlesham Forest. Rendlesham Forest. Different words, right?
Rendlesham.
Rendlesham is one word?
One single word.
Rendlesham.
Forest.
Forest is a separate word.
Another word.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I thought you were saying a sham forest, like a fake one.
This forest is fake.
So the Rendlesham is, what is this?
It's a forest in Suffolk, UK, England. It is. I don't know. I don't know a lot about this.
Great. I appreciate your honesty. Yeah, but I wasn't hot enough to use dating apps like this. If I got swiped on, I had to capitalize on it.
Yeah, I would immediately get cut open on a table in Area 51.
For sure. I mean, I would cut them open on a table at Golden Corral. One of my fears is that I'll be the one of us that encounters an alien.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're not a homeowner.
Things I learned last night.
What I'm interested in talking to you about is in the Rendlesham Forest, there are these two military bases.
Oh.
And they're owned by the UK. But after World War II, during the what do you call it? The Cold War.
Okay.
During the Cold War, everybody was like really worried about, nukes and the
Stuff.
Russians and stuff.
Sure.
And so the UK, and I'm very interested in the history of all of this.
Yeah.
Because I don't know, I'm interested in how this played out, because the UK invited America to come and use the two military bases they had here, called Woodbridge and Bent Water, I think. Woodbridge and Bent Water.
Okay.
And they said, hey, why don't you guys hang out here? And
just hang out here?
Why don't you hang out here? And if Russia seems like they're getting a little nukey, what if you nuke them first? I think that was the idea.
Okay.
Because at the time, England
did not have
they
nukes?
weren't there. And so they were like, we got our friends who are a little bit bigger than us. We'll let them hang out in our military base.
Yeah.
And
Get those big necks from the U.S. over here, huh?
I heard they put chains on their head. And so they were hanging out there. This is a total sidebar, but I'm curious if this is where the United States having bases everywhere started, because no other country does that. The US
Do we have bases everywhere?
Yeah, the U.S. is the only country that does that.
I think that's just imperialism.
Yeah, well, I'm curious if this is how that began, though, because that's a really strange thing to just go to another country and be like, hey, what if we put an Air Force base, like our
Not if you're the
Air Force
ones
base
with
in your
nukes.
country? Yeah,
What
but
if,
like,
if the people with nukes show up at your door and they're like, what if we had a room in this house? You'd be like, yeah, yep. What if you had two? You could have two rooms if you want.
If my
Woodbridge
neighbors-
and Bent Water.
if my neighbors came over and the threatening thing about them was they have nukes, then I wouldn't be very threatened, because if they use it, they're dead too. We're next door neighbors.
But no, I meant like, okay, so what if I came to your house 40 minutes away? All right. That's what outside the nuke zone.
Yeah, actually, yeah. I'd
Yeah.
be worried.
I'd be
I'd be
like, hey,
worried.
give
if
me
you said,
two bedrooms in your house.
I need 2 bedrooms in your house, and I said no,
but
and you
not
said,
that one
I have a
downstairs.
nuke.
There's a creepy girl down there. All right. I've been trying to convince Tim his house is haunted.
Yeah, every time he leaves, he will turn down to my stairs, my basement stairs, and say bye.
Because she's there.
Like I'm gonna believe him. Like I'm here more than you are. I've never seen the girl.
Okay. Oh, yeah, we did try to do this thing today. Okay, so there's a new girl that works downstairs. And yesterday I walked in. She's in the break room. And I was like, we had a full conversation. And then I came up here and I said, hey, who's that girl downstairs? I don't know who that is. And then Tim walked in today. And he was like, hey, I don't know who that girl is either. And I was like, perfect. I got a plan.
Yeah.
So I went back downstairs because she was still in the break room. Still.
She hasn't left.
24 hours. No, she was in the break room again. I was getting water. I struck up a conversation. And I told Tim to come in. And then I was like, all right, Tim, you come in. and be like, who are you talking to? Let's pretend that only one of us can see her. This is going to be so funny.
Yeah. And then I was going to be like, who you talk to? He's going to be like, oh, this is, I don't know, whatever her name was.
Her name is Lauren.
And then introduce me to her. And I'm like, there's
no
nobody
one there. Which is hilarious. It's so funny that you couldn't do it. It's so funny.
I know, I literally turned to him and I said, who? And then I started laughing.
Which to her,
was
we're
just
both down
insane.
there and you go, who? Bent over, right? And then I got to look back and be like.
I spilled the water I was filling up all over myself, walked out of the room.
Yeah. And I said, you see him too, right? I said, do you see that guy?
You see that guy? Is he real or is that just me?
I could have salvaged it. Dadgummit, I should have thought of that. No, we decided anybody new in our building, we're going to pretend that only one of us can see her. Or him, or whoever they are. Which is apparently what Tim is doing to me with that girl in his basement. I know you can see her.
So, anyways, so the U.S. started just hanging out at Woodbridge and Bentwaters,
right?
Which to me feels backwards. I feel like it should be like, I don't know, Bentwood Water Bridge makes more than Woodbridge Bentwaters. Anyways, that's a sidebar.
Does that have anything to
This
do
whole
with the
episode's
topic?
been a sidebar so far.
Great.
So anyways, Rendlesham Forest is a significant place because on December 26, 1980, there was a group of servicemen that were on guard, as you do at military bases.
Right.
And they witnessed what they thought was a plane crash. And so they asked permission to go inspect it. And here's the thing.
Gosh dang it, dude. I hate that you, like, my face did not even hide that either. Daggum. You saw
slow
it change.
tilt of your head.
You saw my face go, golly. All right.
Buckle up, Jaron.
I know. I hate this.
Here's the best part about this is, as happens with all of our alien episodes, for whatever reason, people are going to find this, and we have spent 14 minutes talking
Every
about
time.
nothing.
I literally was just thinking that. My brain immediately went to the YouTube comments. Holy cow. There's going to be so many comments that are like, I gave up with it, just, like, too much giggling.
Yeah,
my
yeah.
gosh.
Yeah, I gave up in the story about not being able to see that girl.
Okay, well, I mean, dang it, man. All right.
So here's what happened. They saw what they thought was a plane crash.
Right.
And so they asked for permission to go investigate because obviously, like, you see a plane crash, like, you got to go help some people, right?
Yeah. That plane just got struck by lightning, and I just saw someone falling 10,000 feet from the sky.
And so they asked for permission to go check it out. Here's the problem. They are, to use the same example that we just painted, if you, with your nukes, were living in 2 bedrooms of my house, you do not have jurisdiction elsewhere, just in those 2 bedrooms.
Yes.
So even if you witnessed a plane crash in the living room, it's not your job.
Yeah. All you can do is be like, hey, someone clean that up.
Hey, by the way, I don't know if you guys heard, that's a plane crash in the living room. Can't do anything about it, though. I don't have jurisdiction.
Can't get past this baby gate.
And so they had to go up, like, I don't know.
Is that what you tell your wife whenever she's like, would you please pick up after yourself or over here? And you're like, that's not my jurisdiction.
Yeah, I don't have jurisdiction.
Over that area.
There.
If you want something done in the backyard or the garage or my office.
That's my jurisdiction.
But downstairs, that belongs to her.
This is your jurisdiction.
No, the girl. That's the ghosts.
That's the ghost jurisdiction. Next time AB May is out trying to fix something in my basement.
Who?
AB May. Oh, I'm sorry. You're not a homeowner.
I thought it was the girl's name. I thought you went from pretending the ghost didn't exist to referencing her by a name that I didn't know. Yeah, the next time old AB is out there, AB May.
AB May is a company that like they do home warranties and they fix like your water heater.
I don't even know about that.
Yeah, whatever. Anyways, they needed to go out there, but they weren't supposed to, right? It's not their.
I understand the analogy.
And so, luckily, the commanding officer at the time was just like, "Yeah, go ahead." And so they went, and so they went out there, drove out into the forest to check it out and see what happened. And they saw this kind of light illuminating from within the forest, and as they got closer. They were expecting to find
a fire.
A fire. It's a downed crash that they expected. Well, that's not what they found.
Tell me what they found, Tim.
They found a craft. It was
what kind of craft? A mac and cheese necklace?
It was a triangular craft with stilts at each of the points that it had landed on these stilts.
Okay.
And it had almost like a... it was described as looking as if it was like black glass. The whole thing was black glass.
Okay.
And it wasn't huge, but it wasn't small. I mean, it was probably smaller than an F-18, but bigger than a Prius. Somewhere between. The typical things people use to size objects. It's probably smaller than an F-18, bigger than a Prius, somewhere around the
Ford
Expedition.
Sure. Sure.
Now you're tracking. It's decently large. What was interesting is as they got closer to this thing, there were some interesting things that they were noting. The trees around.
How tall do you think it was? Did they say it was?
I don't know. I don't remember ever seeing a record of how tall it was. Yeah, I don't know that. But they noted that the trees around it seemed to have been affected by its landing, like they were like scuffed or something,
Okay.
And what's phenomenal about this is there was a group of 3 soldiers, a sergeant and 2 lower-ranking officers that went out to investigate this. And the sergeant said, "I'm going to try to get a closer look. You guys hang back here. I'm going to try to get closer." And he described as he tried to get closer, he described that. He started feeling really wonky. He said he almost had like it almost felt kind of like vertigo-y, or like felt like he was walking underwater. And so it was a really strange feeling.
So it's like just putting off
almost some sort of field, if you will.
Yeah.
Or like
what
gravity.
year was this? 1980.
1980.
After Christmas.
Yeah, December 26th, day after. And so
Santa. It's just as likely, but go ahead.
And so as he gets closer, he said there came a point where he got pretty much right up on this object, and all of a sudden that effect just dissipated. And then he said things got really eerily quiet once he got closer to it, and he was able to actually reach out and touch it, and he felt this thing, and he walked around the back of it and was just kind of examining it. And he said it was really strange because he said it looked like black glass, but it was like when you felt it felt like metal, but there was no rivets, there was no like weld points or anything that showed that it was like constructed together. It was almost like it was 3D printed. He didn't have the words for that. I've just thought of that. Good example.
Sure.
Great job, Tim.
Dude, the counseling's working, man.
Thanks.
Look at you affirming yourself.
He went around the back, and on the back there was this. There was a what do you call it? A inscription, if you will.
He's telling me these aliens got bumper stickers. There was an inscription, and it said.
It said,
"Did you follow Jesus this close?"
Oh,
you were going.
I was
going to
go proud of my honor student.
Yeah. My son's an Eagle Scout or whatever. So the inscription.
Yeah, so there's an inscription on the back of it, and he described it as being almost like it was like a pictograph, like hieroglyphics.
Okay.
And so there's like shapes and triangles. Like
So this is a spaceship that has art.
This has art. And he said it was etched, and he said it was really interesting because like you felt the whole craft, and it was smooth, super smooth metal, like glass. But then when you got over that part, he said it felt like sandpaper, and it was like etched in, like they actually scratched out these symbols.
Okay.
And so he felt used to those symbols, and then he kind of took a step back and turned back to talk to his team, and this thing takes off and zooms out between the trees, and then just kind of takes off into the sky, and
It
then
just left them there?
yeah, it just ditched. And they went back to base and told everyone the story of what they witnessed, and everybody made fun of them. They said, "Y'all are stupid."
Stupid Americans.
Well, remember, they're in their own room. Nobody else is there.
Yeah.
So one of the other Americans on base was like, "Stupid Americans."
Stupid Americans. Like, you're one of us. Not tonight, I'm not.
Not when you say stuff like that. And so
Have you told anyone else about this? Yeah, let's keep this between us. Yeah, this is a secret.
So they didn't file a report on this after this event.
Okay.
And the rumors were getting around. Everybody was kind of joking about this UFO that was seen, right? Well, a couple days later, on December 28th, they're having their Christmas party, and they invited the UKs over. Is that how you say
UKs?
that?
They invited the UKs. Yeah.
They said, "Hey, big Christmas party. UK's welcome."
Hey, I don't know about everybody else, but as far as I go, UK is okay. You know, that is so dumb. They were like, "You can come to our party."
So they invited them over. They threw their party. They were they're handing out their
Is
yearly.
it still New Year in England, in the UK?
I think so.
When is their New Year?
I think it's the same. January 1st. I hope you can hear me typing that.
Yeah, you can.
Okay, so it was December 28th. They threw this big party. Everybody was welcome. All the UKs, all the Americans,
Yeah.
none of the Irish. And
Obviously.
what they did, and it was like there's the big year-end party, and they were giving out awards to everybody. It was like
Why did
superlatives.
you say that again? Why did you? Because me and Alex both.
What? I don't know what we're laughing at.
I'm glad you caught it too. Because you tried to say year end. And you said there's the big year end party.
You're in.
And I looked at me like, did I hear that wrong? And Alex's face was like, yeah. He said urine.
Leave it in. That's funny. That's really funny.
Okay. All right. Well, so there's the big year-end
Big
party.
year-end party.
Stop.
And what they're doing is they're doing their little superlatives. Like their local general is like,
Or they do like most improved.
yeah, best army.
Biggest idiot. That guy who said there was a UFO. What?
Yeah, and so he's giving out all these superlatives, right? And the second in command, the Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt, was in there, basically first in command because the other guy was occupied giving out the awards.
Right. That's how that works. Yeah.
Oh, the president's giving out awards right now, so I am president.
Yeah. Anytime like a president is like reading to children or something, vice president's sitting in the corner like, this is my time. He's just over there like, if you need anything, just talk to me. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, president. Thank you. Yeah. Yeah. This is me. Mm-hmm.
Hey, thanks for checking out this episode. If you like our show, make sure to leave a podcast review in whatever platform you use, or if you're on YouTube, drop a comment. If you want to listen to another episode, my favorite right now is Jose Canseco. It's this guy in the MLB who really brought steroids mainstream for the sport and did a lot of other just absolutely insane stuff. And there might be a little bit of aliens in it. So check that episode out. It's one of my favorites. But thanks for being here. So, the Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt is the acting commander, basically,
Sure.
right? And one of the people, because obviously,
How many people had seen the aircraft?
3 people.
3.
Well, there was 3 people who saw it, and then there was their commanding officer that was like their base
4.
liaison. He didn't see it, but he was on radio with them.
Oh, okay.
And
So,
he was
there's one guy who touched it,
one guy who touched it
2 standing by, like, looking at it,
that actually saw it as well. Yeah,
and then
one that was talking to them on the
that
radio.
saw the plane crash, though.
I don't know if he saw the plane crash,
Okay.
but he directed them as they
Plane
went out.
crash, quote
Yes,
unquote.
yeah,
Yes.
yeah. And so the way this party worked is obviously everybody. There's the group that was partying, and then there was the group, the have-nots, that lost the HOA competition, and they had to keep watch over the base.
Thank you for a Big Brother reference. I like that. I like that a lot.
And so they had to watch over the base while everybody else got to party. And one of them comes in and is like, "Hey, Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt." That's how they talk to each other. He said, "Lieutenant Colonel Charles Halt, that thing is back, the UFO thing." And he was like, "Okay, I'm going to put this to rest." He's like, "This
This is a guy who
distracting."
had not seen it.
Yeah, he hadn't seen it. He's the second in command over the whole base. And he is a
he
very
was like, "You know what?
stiff-necked guy. Like, he was pretty annoyed.
Tired of these rumors.
Yeah.
Sick of this.
I'm tired of you kids and your UFOs and your punk rock
Stupid
music
Americans.
and your hair." He said, "I'm shaving your head and I'm proving that aliens don't exist."
Okay.
And so he gets a little group together and they grab a camera, a tape recorder, a Geiger counter, and a star scope. Because he was like, "I'm going out there and I'm getting a logical explanation for what we're seeing right now."
Yeah.
That was his plan. And he brought the tape recorder too, because he was one of those guys who just tape recorded everything he did. And so he was the guy where you go like out to dinner and he'd pull his tape recorder and be like whisper something in his tape recorder during the meal and then like slide that back in his coat pocket. That was him.
Man, you know, golly. I wish I was hotter because I would have.
What?
I wish I was hotter because I would have used Tinder to do weird stuff like that.
Like that,
Like
yeah.
on a first date,
Yeah.
just pull out and just be like, we're at a sushi restaurant and she asked for water but didn't get a lemon.
Date is going well. We're at 0300 hours, but first initial red flags are she eats weird. Her lips quiver in a strange fashion while she chews, and I don't really like that. So note that for date 2.
Subject has gone to the bathroom 3 times. Just calling her subject the whole time.
Subject.
It was so funny I couldn't get it out. Just like our joke earlier.
Subject.
Just call her subject the whole time. That's what I'm saying. I would have done weird stuff like that.
like get her to talk about something deeply
Yeah,
personal.
but I wasn't hot enough to use dating apps like this. If I got swiped on, I had to capitalize on it. you know,
you couldn't bring a tape recorder.
I
you
couldn't.
did, but you had to hold it under the table.
Yeah, that was an under the table tape recorder. And what level of hot do you got to be to bring that above the table? Just be like, all right, here
I'm
we go.
above the level hot, above the table hot.
I'm yeah. No, I don't think this. Anyway,
so he brings his tape recorder. He brings his tape recorder.
He's like, I'm going to catch these aliens.
I'm going to catch these aliens red-handed and prove that it was just lightning. And so they go out there and they're on patrol, walking around.
But he's got a
woods.
camera, like an eye camera, like an eyeball camera, like a visual camera.
This is the brand new eyeball camera 8.
He's got
and it's literally just
my
an
brain
eyeball.
couldn't do it. No, stop, shut up. My brain couldn't do it. But he does have a camera
Yeah, it's a camera, not a camcorder. This is 1980, so this is a film
picture.
camera.
Okay.
He's going to take photographs.
Okay.
Yeah, so there wasn't like those home camcorders. I mean, there was, but they were cumbersome, and the military wasn't about them. Yeah. I don't know. I'm not sure. Anyways, so he goes. They're out on patrol. He's got a little group with him, a handful of people, of other officers in the military.
None of these people in this group saw the first incident.
No, this is a totally different group of people.
Got it. I mean, nobody in any group saw anything, but we'll go ahead.
So they go out and they're searching. They're not finding anything. So they decide to go back to the site of the original landing,
encounter,
the landing site. And so in the tape recording, the tape recording has since been declassified in a Freedom of Information Act, so you can listen to the whole thing. And in it, you hear him as they go to the landing site. He kind of makes fun of it. He's like, "Okay, we're gonna head over to the landing site." And so they go and they get.
This is my fear, though. One of my fears is that I'll be the one of us that encounters an alien. The one like you and me, and then I'll come and try to tell you about it, and then you'll be skeptical. You know?
So they go to the landing site, and when they get there, they're surprised to find that there were, in fact, some markings on the trees. And so they tested them, and there was like a heat signature on the trees. On like the thermal camera that they brought to test it, as if it had been warm recently, but only in that spot where there were the abrasions,
the
and
marks,
damages.
sure.
And stuff. In that landing site, there was the 3 indentations on the ground from where those the landing spikes or whatever you would call them were supposedly landed. And this was significant because one, it was very clearly in the shape of a triangle, just as they described. So they were right where you would expect them to be.
Sure.
Based on the description, they were about the size of a Ford Explorer. And so it matched what they described. But even more significant than that, this is December 28th in England. And so the ground was hard. And so this isn't the sort of thing where something like a tree branch could fall and indent. This was something where it had to deliberately, like with a decent bit of weight, indent the ground to push that down. And so they took photos of that. They turned on some flashlights, took photos, and they got photos of each of those indentations, the damages on the trees. And they were there using all of the tools that they brought to gather readings of this landing site on the trees, the indentations, the quote-unquote actual landing site. Another significant thing is they gathered, they got the Geiger counter, and they noted above normal levels of radiation at the landing site, but not anywhere outside the landing site. It wasn't dangerous levels. It was just above normal background radiation levels.
Sure.
And a significant piece on this sidebar, even though it wasn't technically a dangerous level of radiation, a couple of the people who had witnessed this event had developed cancers later in life. And one of them specifically approached the VA looking for medical assistance for injuries sustained while in service due to this event. For that. And
so this guy went to the VA and was like,
hey,
aliens radiating me.
And the VA was like,
cough over those benefits.
And the VA was like, we have a form for this. You're going to want to fill out form 23A.
No, I guarantee they have that. Yeah.
The A is for alien.
Well, we all put that together.
No, and what happened was he went through the process and he actually ended up getting medical assistance for that. And the documentation says no,
it doesn't.
Medical benefits for exposure to UFO levels of radiation. Just saying. So at least the government, at least there, acknowledged you got radiated by a UFO. Whether that's an alien UFO, I don't know, but you got radiated by that UFO. So here's some money. Sorry about
like
it.
Radiated as a verb. Oh yeah, bro, you got radiated
you got
for sure.
Radiated. So anyway, so that's an interesting little
subject shows signs of being radiated by aliens.
Okay, I think we're done here. Okay, so they're examining this site, right?
Yes. As they have been for the past 5 minutes of your story.
Yes, and they're surprised.
They're looking at the indents. They're looking at the trees.
Yeah, and they're gathering data, real data, right?
You said this 4 times.
And so then as they're doing this, one of them says, hey, do you guys see that? And there's a light in the sky. And it's flickering, it's flashing.
Do you guys see that?
Do you guys see that? No, we don't see that. It's just you.
Who?
Who are you talking to? Bro, it's just you here. You're here alone in the forest. There's no base.
Subject is alone in the woods. Yeah.
So they start describing this flickering light in the distance.
Sure.
And they're recording this all on their audio recording, and you can hear the tone start to shift a little as they are watching this this flashing light in the distance. And they start saying like, oh, the animals in one of the neighboring farms are losing it. They said they're all going crazy. They're making a lot of noise.
Okay.
And then you hear him say like, there's something splitting off from it. There are like objects or metal or something splitting off from the light. And he says it's orange, it's green, it's like flickering between a couple colors. And they said, oh, it's definitely heading towards us. And so he says, let's get the star scope out. Let's measure the distance. A star scope, it's like binoculars, but it's just one. It's telescope.
Star scope is that thing you have with a kid where you put it up to your eye and you twist it, and it's just like the glitter inside, and it just goes back and forth.
It's like,
let's check the thing. I swear, there's one person in the woods with a tape recorder and a kaleidoscope, and they're just like,
you're not gonna believe what I saw.
You're right. I'm not. So far, nothing's compelling.
It's binoculars, but without they're just noculars.
Just noculars. I knew you were going to say that.
Binocular. So they're looking at the binocular, and the thing about a star scope is star scopes, they are designed to for snipers to judge the distance of something.
Right.
So it tells them how far something is from them, and so they use the star scope to identify, oh, hey, this thing is coming towards us. Because they saw that number ticking down as it was traveling towards them. And they noted that there was almost like there was this bright outer light, and then there was an inner light that was dimmer than the outer light of this, whatever this object was. And as the sighting goes on, they watch it come closer to them and get a lot closer to them. And then they said there was like a beam of light that came down from it, and all this other stuff of it moving around, whatever, blah, blah, blah. It's just moving. They saw it for a while, and they were amazed. And then it jets off really quickly. And in his report,
says, "Behold, this night in Bethlehem, born
in the city of David."
Yes.
Have you done the play? You remember it? Okay. Anyways,
the play.
Yeah, we've all done that, right? The church play where someone says the whole speech. Anyways.
No, I was baby Jesus for that.
Yeah, they cast me as baby Jesus at 13.
The most.
Wow. Yeah, you be Jesus. Don't say anything.
The more I picture it, the worse it gets. Just wrapped in a cloth, and then the other girl has to like wrap you and
then pick you up. And you're just limp.
I was the youngest kid in the church. What can I say?
There was no other options.
Yeah. What sucked is that there was a kid who was like 4 feet tall, and he should have done it, but I was 6'3", and I was like, all right.
Yeah. So
I had to wear a shirt that said "Baby Jesus" so everyone knew.
Baby Jesus.
I'm gonna make that shirt. I'm Baby Jesus.
I'm Baby Jesus. Yikes. Okay, so he writes his report, and he puts that report on to his superiors, and in that report, at that moment of this part of the sighting where it left, he wrote "speed impossible," because he said that There's nothing that he knows of that can go that fast. And something significant about this is obviously these are military personnel, and this lieutenant colonel is a high-ranking military dude who's stiff-necked, and he went out there to prove this wrong. And within this whole thing, they got real data of radiation levels, heat signatures, distances, photographs, the tape recording of the whole sighting.
The whole thing.
Yeah, so it's one of the better documented events in the UFO phenomena world from some people who are what you would call qualified observers. The first guy who saw it, he was actually the guy on base who would identify enemy crafts. Enemy crafts. He'd say, yeah, that's a
bad one.
They knitted that.
Yeah, that's an enemy.
I got my binocular. Someone give me binocular. I need to understand what that craft is. Oh, that's some clay earrings. No, he was the guy who would look up at the sky and see a plane from a distance and figure out what it was. And so he knew what all kinds of planes looked like just by looking at them.
Keep going.
Okay, so anyways, what's significant is
what?
I don't know.
I keep waiting for you to finish sentences.
I don't know, man. I'm struggling right now.
Is it significant that these are military people who would have known if it was something military related?
Yes.
Look at that. We finished each other's sentences.
Are we soulmates?
Yeah.
Great.
If souls existed.
So here's the deal. There's a couple possibilities of what was going on here. Obviously, aliens is the most likely.
Obviously.
Some skeptics have come forward with their interpretations of the possibilities. Obviously, you have the more famous like ball lightnings or some sort of atmospheric phenomena that we don't understand yet. Or like group hysteria.
They were in the woods in the cold.
Or just a general hoax. But this group is less likely to get together and be like, hey, let's make something up. That was the game. That was the Christmas party game.
They didn't invite us to the party. Let's make something up and make them feel like they missed something cool.
And then, but one of the more bona fide theories is that what they saw was there's a lighthouse at the other end of the forest. That, you know how lighthouses work. They flicker.
Like, dude, this thing shows up like every couple seconds.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was, what they were seeing was that lighthouse in the distance. The issue with this is it doesn't explain the landing site stuff. And also, you would expect that these people are here every day. They would know that lighthouse is there.
Right.
So you would expect that they would...
Maybe it hadn't been running before.
Oh, this was the first night that they turned it on?
Yeah. We built this whole lighthouse. It's been standing here for a couple hundred years. Maybe we should turn that on tonight.
Let's turn that lighthouse on. And the other thing is they captured it on that the Starscope, and they were capturing the distances of it, and it was getting closer. And so that's, I don't know. That's the more accepted conclusion of what this is.
Sure.
You talk to any of the witnesses, and all of them say, no way. We knew that.
Yeah, they're not super old.
No, yeah, they're all still alive.
Okay.
They're all still alive. All of them, this was kind of a shaking event. Most of them didn't talk about it until after they retired, with the exception of the reports that they had to give of the incident. They kind of didn't talk about it. And the reason why they say that is because, I mean, this is the sort of thing that
everyone just thinks they're crazy. Yeah.
Yeah. People will think you're crazy, and then it's a career limiting move to come forward with something like this. And so, but now that they're all retired, they're coming forward and actually recounting their stories.
Hey, thank you again for listening to this episode.
making sure that you don't miss one in the future, go ahead and subscribe to this podcast, whether that be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, YouTube. You'll get an alert when we drop a new episode. And if you want more, if you want something a week early, you want to be part of our Discord, more access to us as creators, you can support this show on Patreon. It helps us go a long way. Nothing that we're doing is possible without our Patreon supporters. If you want more information about that, please text TILLN to 66866. Thank you so much for being here.
That's where things get weird, is when you hear them talk about it now.
Okay.
Because now it's almost like you compare what they say now with their reports, and the reports are like they were sugarcoating it a little bit. Because they were like, we don't want to mess up our career. And so I'm not going to tell the whole story here. And that's where it starts to hurt. I don't know if I would say the credibility. It hurts the credibility of what they're saying now, because what they're saying now doesn't quite match that report. The lieutenant colonel, for one, he says there's not a possible world where that was a human-built craft. It was very clearly intelligently piloted, because the way it was moving through the trees and the way it was interacting with us as if it knew we were there. It was very clearly piloted by some sort of intelligence. And it was significantly faster and quieter than anything we could build, even today. And so he says, there's not a doubt in my mind that it was of extraterrestrial origin.
Right. But he also thinks that someone broke into his house last year dressed as Grimace from McDonald's.
What?
You know, the purple guy from McDonald's, Grimace?
Yeah, but why? What is...
I'm saying, like, we can't trust what he said, because he also believes that Grimace broke into his house.
No, he doesn't.
I was just trying to be like, yeah, you're like, well, I mean, now his story's a little different. It says there's no way that it couldn't be an alien, but he also believes some other crazy things.
Well, his side of it is he's and most of them are like, yeah, there's no way it was human. The guy who touched the craft, his story is the one where it's like, all right, what's it? Can we believe you?
Sure.
Is the thought. So here's what he says now. He says he went and he touched that craft. And he says when he touched, he went around and he touched the letters. He describes it. And I'm going to be honest with you. This is the part where I'm like, he touched the letters and he describes it as a download. He says, I touched those letters. And from that point forward, he was like, I saw binary, like binary code. And he went home and that night he drew in his notebook what he saw, like the craft and the etchings on the craft. I thought you were saying
he went home and he just wrote out the binary code that he was seeing. And that's crazy.
Well, then he did. He did write out the binary code.
So he's just got like a notebook that's just
1
0 1 1 1 0 0 0
yeah.
1.
Yeah.
Yeah. And you're like, look how sane I am. Look how I'm completely together
normal
over here.
Well, here's the thing. This is the only
scratching it into the walls of his house.
This is the only instance of anything like this he's ever done. And the government, in their report, they took the leaflets of his pictures and of the drawings he made of the symbols, and of all of the binary. And that's included in that declassified report is the little leaflets that he drew. And for whatever reason, I don't know if he forgot about it or he didn't know what he was writing or whatever. But he said that with the binary, he said he saw it until he finished writing it, and then it just went away. He said, I had a piercing headache. I saw it until I finished writing it out, and then once I finished writing it out, the headache went away. I stopped seeing it. And he said, I closed the book, and I wanted to forget about it because I didn't want to lose my career. And so he never touched it. 30 years later, after he retires, he's doing an interview.
Okay.
And in the interview, they asked to see that notebook because he still has it. And so he's like, yeah, sure. And so he shows them the drawings, and the guy doing the interview is like, what the heck is that? Like binary code. Like, what is that? Because he was just going to not acknowledge it.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, yeah, that's the download.
That's the download. Subject has gone to the bathroom 3 times. Commencing download. I'm sorry, did you say commencing download? Subject heard me speaking too loud. Attempting to be more quiet.
Attempting to delete memory.
I can see the tape recorder.
Having to use tape recorder under table so subject doesn't see me.
Subject has left.
And so the guy doing the interview was like, this is a significant part of the story.
Yeah,
I don't know why you weren't interested in this.
Yeah, okay.
And so...
Well, he goes, yeah, but if I told the government the aliens downloaded something, I would immediately lose my job.
yeah, I would immediately get cut open on a table in Area 51.
For sure. I mean, I would cut them open on a table at Golden Corral. Like, get up here. Come here, little binary guy.
And so... so that interviewer in that whatever program that was on like CBS or whatever,
Sure.
was like, yeah, we're gonna get this figured out. Can I like take a copy?
We're looking into this.
Some copies of that. And he's like, sure, whatever. They sent it off to some computer programmer who translated it out. And basically it was like,
Be sure to drink your Ovaltine. 30 years for an advertisement?
that was a good joke. So the translation
Yeah.
came through and it was
I didn't like the face you made. Go ahead.
it was Earth exploration or exploration of humanity. Starting date 8610, and then coordinates all over the world of a lot of places that didn't make a lot of sense, but of some places of either religious or like historic significance. So things like temples in Rome, or the pyramids at Giza, or some
Bass Pro.
the pyramid at Memphis,
Or-
Tennessee.
Yes.
So just historical and religiously significant locations throughout the world, and then some other stuff that we didn't understand. And then like a mythical island that the site of a mythical island that doesn't exist, but according to like Norse mythology, it was like a very significant place.
Okay.
They call it the Nordic Atlantis.
Sure.
Which we did an episode that could be related to that with the what was that
About
called?
Atlantis?
Yeah, remember that next to England and between Norwegia and England, there's that what was that called? It had a really weird name. That continent that is underwater now. What was that called? It was like a little, and it had a really weird name, and it was like super shallow water because there was another continent there, like a long time ago in the Ice Age.
What are you talking about?
Oh man,
Oumuamua?
no, it was older than that.
I don't think.
Yeah, we did an episode of Doggerland.
Doggerland?
Doggerland.
Did we mention that in the Atlantis episode then?
No, we had an episode about it.
We did not
or
do an
maybe
episode
we
about
mentioned it.
Doggerland.
Maybe
That's
we
what I-
did
that's what I was
mention
confused
in
about, yeah.
Atlantis. Maybe we mentioned it.
Yeah, because we made a joke about it being Dog the Bounty Hunter's theme park.
That's right. Welcome to Doggerland. Okay, anyways, that's not important.
So there's Alien Code has
Yeah.
GPS locations
Of a bunch of spots all over
for
the planet.
Bounty Hunter's theme park.
Yeah. Where to
Okay.
find Dog the Bounty Hunter. Everywhere we've seen Dog the Bounty Hunter. So here's my problem with this. Binary is a human thing.
Yeah.
And sure, maybe.
And sure.
Sure, aliens could come and learn it. They could watch us and learn binary. Sure.
Why would they speak that?
Yeah, and then this download thing, I don't know. Well, he is the only one with a different opinion than everybody else in that group. Everybody's like, that was an alien spaceship.
And he's like,
He was
lighthouse. He's like, yeah.
I touched the lighthouse and I got this
Downloaded
binary
it.
from
Yeah,
it.
dude. Stay away from them. Pretty spooky stuff.
Lighthouses are weird, man.
Yeah.
No. He is convinced that it was humans that time traveled. And so he says that 8610, he says that must be the date when they started time traveling, and all these significant spots are the significant. He's like, maybe that was their travel manifest in their time travel thing where they were going.
So
and
if they
checking all
go
these
to
places
that
out,
Nordic Atlantis, it will be there when they go to that.
if it existed in that
Got
time
it.
travel
Got
thing.
it. Yeah.
And so he's convinced that it was us, and that's why they used binary to download it.
Interesting.
I don't know. He's the only one with a different fate.
Sure.
That whole storyline of the binary thing, though, was not originally part of the story.
Yeah.
It was
And
not
that's the
documented.
unbelievable part.
That's the part I don't believe.
Got
the
it.
rest of it, I think is documented by both the United States military and the UK military.
Okay.
They have both since declassified their documents, and they line up.
Right.
They match. And they were witnessed by the high-level military brass who understand what they're looking at.
Sure.
And they could not explain it by any conventional understanding of any means. And what's also significant is that when you look at both the reports from the United States and from the UK, they both, in the reports, talked about contacting the other nation to be like, hey, were you testing something here? And they're like, oh, no.
No,
But
we thought you were.
Were you testing something here? And both of them were like, no, this wasn't us. And as far as we know, there's nothing that matches it in terms of like a technological advancement since that puts off a similar radiation level or anything like that and moves at those kind of speeds since this has happened. So it's one of the more credible UFO encounters that we have on record. Mm-hmm. That's the Rendlesham Forest Incident. It is now the what do you call it? The Rendlesham Forest is owned by the UK. I don't know what they call it. The Department of Forests, I guess. I don't know.
Department of Forests?
The Forestry Commission. The Forestry Commission.
So it's like a national park.
They had a lottery, they had like a normal lottery, and with the proceeds from that
Win
lottery,
these woods.
the proceeds from that lottery, they established the UFO trail. And now there's a trail that goes through it, honoring the UFOs that existed there, and they built like a little
Fake UFO out there.
Yeah, and it's supposed to look like it looks like what the UFO that they witnessed looks like, and this is it. This is supposedly, allegedly, what the UFO looks like. Gosh, I cannot drag and drop this. Thank you. In the UFO trail, and there's the little glyphs on the back of it that he touched. And
That's
got
not
his
that
download.
big.
And if you go, I think this is smaller than it actually was. But if you go and you touch those glyphs, you'll get the download too. I got the download.
All right, we got to go on a trip then, huh?
Yeah, we got to go to the UFO trail, see if we see this. It looks to me like an orange peeler, or not, like an orange juicer.
Yep.
Yeah, you juice it.
Or a weird hat.
Yeah, I can see that too. But yeah, the Rendlesham Forest Incident. Oh, you want to listen to the tape? We got the tape?
Yeah, I was wondering the whole time.
Yeah,
the whole time you kept mentioning these tapes, and you did this whole plug in your computer thing, and then we're getting to the end, and I was like, "Are you just about to fiddle this off with no?"
Yeah.
Did you see me look at that whenever you mentioned the tapes?
Yeah, yeah.
You said we've got it on tape, and I went. I saw that
Yeah,
plug
you
into
wanna
your
listen to
computer.
it?
Sure.
Okay, here we go.
They're making an awful lot of noise.
Yes, in a pigmentation.
You just saw a light
Yes,
where?
sir.
Wait, no, slow down. Where?
Right in this position here. Straight ahead.
Wait, stop. Wait, slow down. Where? Right in this position here. Like the guy really started talking slower, dude.
Ready?
Yeah.
There it is again. Watch straight ahead off my flash right there, sir. There it is.
Hey, I see it too. What is it?
We don't know, sir.
So can I get some of it? Yeah, it's a strange, small red light. Looks to be out maybe a quarter to half mile, maybe further out. I'm going to switch off it. The light is gone now. It was approximately 120 degrees from the site. Is it back again?
Yes, sir.
Oh, that's the flashlight set.
I'm going to jump ahead a little bit in this. This guy talks like he's telling a Christmas story, and I could listen to him all night.
Flashing red light ahead. It's yellow. I saw yellow tinge in it too. Weird. It appears to be maybe moving a little bit this way. It's brighter than it has been.
Weird.
It's coming this way.
I see a little bit of yellow in it. And there's a red light. There's a little bit of yellow in it. Weird. Now it's gone. Now it's back. Now it's gone.
Weird.
Now it's back. Now it's gone.
Okay, hold on,
This is
listen
a
to
lighthouse.
Listen to this. Listen to this.
Pieces of it are shooting off. There is no doubt about it. This is weird. To the left. Yeah, definitely moving.
There is no doubt about it. This is weird. There's no doubt about it.
What's interesting is like if you contrast this to early when they're like collecting their data, like the way they're engaging with each other is totally different now.
Okay.
Like here I can jump.
Now
back
they're
to the
freaking
beginning.
out like little middle schoolers out like Sasquatch hunting at night.
Yeah.
Now they're like, oh my goch, oh.
Yeah. Let me see if I can find a
Yeah, but you
spot.
can hype yourself into that kind of stuff. Same thing with paranormal stuff. You can hype yourself into believing anything.
What, 7? What? Just jumped up to 7 tenths there. 7 tenths right there in the center? Uh-huh. We found a small blast, what looks like a blasted or scruffed up area here. We're getting very positive readings. Let's see, is that near the center? Yes, it is. This is what we would assume would be the dead center. It's picking up more as we go along the whole area here now.
Who was that?
there's
It came a swamp person.
So there's a whole crowd of them
Wow,
there
this is
witnessing
really
this whole
weird.
thing.
I'll tell you what, this is just so bonkers and weird and
Here's another
something
one.
that I never thought in my whole military career I'd see. That's what that sounded like. There was just some dude over there like talking in binary. So 1 0 1
1 0 0 1
1 0 0
0 0 1.
Somebody translate that.
That's another
Wow,
date.
there's no doubt about it.
Ready? Hold on. Check this out. Here we go. Another one.
Here he comes from the south. He's coming toward us now. Now we're observing what appears to be a beam coming down to the ground. This is unreal. 330, or 330, and the objects are still in the sky, although the one to the south looks like it's losing a little bit of altitude. We're turning around and heading back toward the base. The object to the south is still beaming down lights to the ground. 0400 hours, 1 hour.
This is really weird. There's a beam.
Wow, well, now that I got his voice down, my next date with my girlfriend's going to be pretty weird. Subject has put too much soy sauce on her poke bowl.
This is really weird.
Subject made me buy her a large bowl, but she's only going to eat half of it. Could have saved $3 if I bought the cheaper one. There's no doubt about it. This is weird. There is no doubt about it.
Here's the thing. They're very clearly a little surprised by what they're seeing. I don't know. And then they see a beam, and then they're like, oh, it's coming at us. And then they're like, we're going home.
Whoa, I see a beam right now. It's crazy. There seems to, and you know what happens in 20 years? Someone's going to do a whole show on the
Yeah, but here's the thing. If you were...
the Space Tim studio encounter.
Yeah, no, nobody would believe you and I if we
That's
recorded
true.
something. If we were
Military
a
people.
lieutenant colonel...
Well, maybe that's what we need to do then.
Yeah, let's go acquire some military
Let's join
brass
the military.
for the purpose of creating
Let's-
an elaborate hoax. That actually would be a pretty good bit.
And then we write out all the ones and zeros, right? In a notebook, eyes doing the whole weird like. And then we like translate this. Someone translates it. Fiddle Off.
There you go. Hey, thanks for watching Things I Learned Last Night. If you like this episode, you can watch more right here, or you can watch some highlights. Don't forget to subscribe and like this video. It helps us out a lot. Also, leave a comment below, and we'll see you next week.